Do you know anything about the brutal reality of Viking berserkers? Were these warrior rituals? The Viking Age, from the late 8th to the mid-11th century, is often imagined with images of fearless warriors and brutal raids. Among these figures, berserkers stand out as the most fearsome, wild, uncontrollable warriors who seemed invincible in battle. However, beneath the myth lies a complex reality intertwined with ritual, spirituality, and social dynamics. This essay delves into the brutal reality of Viking berserkers, exploring the rituals that transformed ordinary men into these legendary warriors. Origins of the berserker myth. The term berserker is thought to derive from the Old Norse words ber, bear, and serker, shirt, suggesting that these warriors either wore bear skins or embodied the ferocity of bears in battle. Alternatively, berserk might mean bare-shirted, indicating that these warriors fought without armor, which would have been seen as incredibly reckless. Medieval sources describe berserkers as entering a trance-like state, immune to pain, and capable of superhuman feats of strength and violence. These descriptions reflect the intense and brutal nature of Viking warfare, where psychological intimidation was as important as physical prowess. The berserkers, with their wild appearance and seeming invulnerability, were both terrifying to their enemies and inspiring to their allies. To understand the reality behind these legends, we must examine the rituals that transformed men into berserkers. Rituals of transformation. The core of berserker identity lay in the concept of transformation, physical, spiritual, and psychological. This transformation was achieved through rituals designed to invoke the power of animal spirits, particularly bears and wolves. Wearing animal skins, such as bear or wolf pelts, was believed to imbue the wearer with the animal's strength and ferocity. One key ritual was a hamask, meaning change form. This was not literal shape-shifting, but a symbolic transition from human to beast during battle. Intense rituals involving drumming, chanting, and dancing were used to induce a frenzied state of mind. The consumption of mind-altering substances, like alcohol or hallucinogenic mushrooms, likely played a role in facilitating this altered state of consciousness. These rituals suggest that berserkers were not simply acting out of uncontrolled rage, but were following prescribed practices aimed at achieving a specific psychological and spiritual state. This state was characterized by a loss of self-awareness and suppression of fear and pain, allowing the berserker to fight with singular focus. Psychological and physiological factors. The berserker's ferocity can also be understood through psychology and physiology. The intense rituals likely induced an altered state of consciousness, where the warrior's sense of self and distinction between friend and foe blurred. This state, known as berserkergang, was marked by an overwhelming sense of invulnerability and disregard for personal safety. Modern interpretations suggest that the berserker's behavior may have been influenced by psychological factors like extreme stress or trauma, common in a society where violence was a way of life. Mind-altering substances could have exacerbated these effects, leading to a dissociative state where the warrior felt detached from reality. The physical exertion involved in the rituals, combined with the harsh conditions of Viking life, likely led to the release of endorphins and adrenaline. This physiological response, coupled with the psychological conditioning of the rituals, created a warrior capable of extraordinary feats of strength and violence, seemingly immune to normal human limitations. Social and cultural context. The existence of berserkers is best understood within the social and cultural context of Viking society. The Vikings lived in a world where warfare was both a means of survival and a path to honor and glory. The concept of drengskapper, or warrior honor, was central to their identity, and berserkers displayed this ideal with their fearlessness and willingness to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Berserkers often served as personal bodyguards, known as herdmen, to kings and chieftains. Their role was not just to protect their leader, but also to serve as symbols of power and intimidation. The presence of berserkers in a warband would have been a powerful psychological weapon, demoralizing enemies before the battle began. However, the status of berserkers was enigmatic. While celebrated for their martial prowess, they were also viewed with suspicion and fear due to their association with animalistic behavior and uncontrolled violence. This ambivalence reflects the tension between admiration for their skills and fear of their unpredictability. Literary depictions and historical accounts. The most vivid depictions of berserkers come from the sagas, particularly the sagas of the Icelanders and King's sagas. These medieval Icelandic texts, written in the 13th century but based on earlier oral traditions, provide detailed accounts of berserkers in both historical and legendary contexts. One famous berserker is Egil Skallagrimsson, a Viking poet and warrior known for his uncontrollable rage and violent outbursts. In Egil's saga, Egil enters a berserk state, becoming invincible in battle but losing control of his actions, sometimes attacking friends and foes alike. This duality, strength combined with unpredictability, captures the essence of the berserker myth. Another account is found in the Ynglinga saga, part of the Heimskringla, a collection of sagas about the kings of Norway written by Snorri Sturluson in the 13th century. The saga describes berserkers as Odin's special warriors, immune to fire and iron, reinforcing the idea of berserkers as sacred warriors chosen by the gods. These literary depictions, while embellished with mythical elements, reflect the historical reality of berserkers as a distinct warrior class in Viking society. However, they also highlight the tension between admiration and fear surrounding these warriors, whose behavior often bordered on the supernatural. Archaeological evidence. Archaeological evidence provides further insight into the reality of Viking berserkers and the rituals that defined them. While direct evidence of berserkers is scarce, certain findings suggest the existence of warrior cults and rituals associated with animal transformation. One such piece of evidence is the Torslanda plates, a set of bronze dies from 6th century Sweden. These plates depict warriors wearing animal masks, possibly representing the ritualistic transformation of men into beasts. This imagery suggests that the concept of animalistic warriors existed in pre-Viking societies and may have influenced the development of berserker rituals. Another significant find is the Sutton Hoo burial site in England, dating to the early 7th century. Among the grave goods is a helmet adorned with boar imagery, a symbol of protection and ferocity in battle. This suggests a belief in the power of animal spirits and their role in warfare, a belief that likely carried over into the Viking Age. The decline of the berserkers. The decline of the berserkers is closely tied to the Christianization of Scandinavia. As Christianity spread during the 10th and 11th centuries, the pagan rituals and beliefs that shaped the berserkers were increasingly viewed with suspicion. Christianity introduced new moral codes that clashed with the wild, uncontrollable nature of the berserkers. The Christian warrior was expected to embody controlled strength, humility, and devotion to God, contrasting sharply with the pagan ideals of unrestrained ferocity. As Christian influence grew, berserkers were no longer revered but seen as dangerous outcasts. Legal codes, such as the Gulathing and Frostathing laws in Norway, outlawed berserkergang and imposed penalties on those who practiced it. The berserkers' role as symbols of fear and power became a liability, leading to their gradual disappearance from the social and military landscape. The transition from paganism to Christianity also led to a reinterpretation of berserkers in literature and folklore. They were no longer seen as sacred warriors but as figures of madness and demonic possession. In Christian accounts, berserkers were often portrayed as possessed by evil spirits or cursed by God for adhering to pagan rituals. This demonization reflects the broader cultural shift from a violent, chaotic pagan society to a more orderly Christian one. Legacy of the berserkers. Despite their decline, the legacy of the berserkers endures in both historical memory and popular culture. The image of the berserker as a frenzied, unstoppable warrior has been romanticized, often detached from the brutal realities of Viking warfare and the complex rituals that shaped them. In modern times, the term berserk is commonly used to describe someone acting in an uncontrolled and aggressive manner, reflecting the enduring fascination with the idea of the berserker. Berserkers have also inspired characters in literature, film, and video games, where they are depicted as archetypal barbarian warriors with extraordinary combat abilities. The berserkers continue to be the subject of scholarly research, with historians, archaeologists, and psychologists seeking to understand the true nature of these warriors. This interdisciplinary study sheds light on how ritual, culture, and psychology intersected in the Viking Age, offering insights into how extreme behaviors are shaped by social and religious contexts. Conclusion. The brutal reality of Viking berserkers is a complex and multifaceted topic that extends beyond the simple image of wild, uncontrollable warriors. These men were products of a specific cultural and historical context, shaped by rituals that sought to transform them into something more than human. Berserkers were not just madmen driven by rage, they were highly trained and conditioned warriors whose fearsome reputation resulted from deliberate practices aimed at invoking the power of animal spirits and entering an altered state of consciousness. As the Viking world gave way to Christianization, the role of berserkers changed, and they became symbols of the very chaos and savagery that the new religion sought to suppress. The decline of berserkers reflects the broader cultural shift from a pagan to a Christian society. Today, berserkers remain powerful symbols of the extremes of human behavior, representing both unparalleled strength and the dangers of uncontrolled aggression. By uncovering the rituals that shaped these warriors, we gain a deeper understanding of the Viking Age and the complex interplay between ritual, culture, and violence in shaping human history. Thanks for listening. Like and comment. And please subscribe, as that will help us get more videos out to those interested in the Middle Ages. See you next time on Medieval Chronicles 1066. Stay curious.